Now let's take a card out of the You Don't Know My Life box with a question for both of us. Jen, are you ready?
Ready? Sometimes.
Roommate or neighbor story? Go.
Oh, okay. The first roommate that popped into my head was my first year at Florida State, my freshman dorm roommate. Love her. She's so sweet, but was a talker. She loved to talk. Just talking all the time. And I was very busy, right? I did lots of activities. When I was in the dorm room, I needed to sit and study. And she did not have as wide of a social circle. So I was her social circle a lot of times. I think she just talked a lot about a lot of things. And I got to the point where on my little word processor, because we didn't have computers,
right.
I had a word processor to type my papers for school. I would put on headphones with my Walkman attached because we had the Discman Walkmans at that time. Do you remember you put a CD in the Discman and then you had your little headphones?
Yep.
I would put it on so that she thought I was listening to music, but I actually wasn't listening to anything. It was just a way to shut her up. I feel so bad about that to this day. I hope she does not listen to the Friendzy podcast because she will know what I'm talking about. But I would have to do something because it was incessant.
Well, you're trying not to be rude, right? And it's awkward, especially when you're a freshman. You don't know how to, I mean, as an adult, you don't know how to handle those situations. Well, here's a little trivia. I don't know if you knew. The Discman, it was the inspiration for the iPhone because Steve Jobs, the reason he made the iPhone was because he saw the Discman. He thought, I could do that better. I can put the songs on your phone instead of you having to have a separate thing.
That's
so
cool.
Just let him. I mean, now we use we use our phones for something completely different than just music. But yes, the Discman was the inspiration for the iPhone. For me, it was a neighbor story as an adult that first came to mind because I lived in a townhome community when you and I were doing morning radio together. And I had a neighbor who I called her Gladys Kravitz. So if anybody watched Bewitched, then you know who Gladys Kravitz is. If you're too young for Bewitched, Gladys Kravitz was the nosy neighbor next door who literally peeked through the curtains and would look at everything that the other family was doing. And I called her Gladys because she literally would see me pull in and rush out the door to have to tell me something. Every time that I left, she would come out. There was one time that she even, as I was pulling out, I was in the car and the car was in motion. And she ran up to my driver's side window and knocked to tell me something insignificant. But I guess I was the only one that would talk to her.
Did you know that they're changing garbage day to Tuesday instead of Wednesday?
Exactly.
Something like that.
When I first moved in, she would tell me what the former owners would do. Like, oh, well, the people who lived here before would da-da-da. And I had to tell her, well, they are no longer here and I'm living here now. So I'm going to do that. And it was insignificant. It had to do with sidewalks. It had to do with plants. It had to do with, like you said, the trash. It had to do.
You were her social life.
I was her social. So same situation in which, and then when I would date somebody, and Katie, I started dating, seriously when I lived there. She understood that she got caught once by her, but she had to literally scurry in the house from the car and back.
That's the neighbor where you pretend like you're on the phone.
Yes, it wouldn't matter, but it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
She would still
talk anyway.
She'd still talk, but yeah, when I almost ran her over, I knew that she's got a serious problem. So yes, I no longer live there, and I will say that. Whew, that was one of the things
I thought you were gonna talk about how Jean Benet's dad lived next to you.
Well, that was on the other side. So I lived in this townhome community. On one side was Gladys Kravitz. The other side, Katie and I were home from the grocery store. We came in, we were going to get groceries back and forth, and Katie's like, come here. And it was Jean Benet's dad was there. And I learned later that he had 2 grown children before he had his 2 young children with another woman. And the older daughter owned the townhouse next to me. And so when she moved out, she let him move in. And when Patsy Ramsey, right? Mm-hmm. The mother, when she passed of cancer, he was living there, and all the children, like the young kids and the older kids, were there for that, But yes, I would wave and smile at Mr. Ramsey there for a period of months, and it was it was quite unsettling for me because I had theories about that family. So yeah, so that town, I don't live there anymore, but yes, it was quite dramatic, that townhome
Could have been
experience.
could have been the setting for your sitcom that you write someday,
And
right?
that's right.
Right?
I should.